Do you feel like growing a business with little kids at home is kind of impossible? Like there's no time, there's mess everywhere, there's so much going on, and yet this dream of growing a thriving business and working for yourself is still there and it's still pulling at your heart? Or maybe you are looking around at other moms who are also kind of building a side hustle and working for themselves with little kids, and you're wondering, what is she doing? Where is she finding the time? Or what are her secrets? How is she able to do both, basically? And trust me, I've done my fair share of internet stalking, even sliding into those DMs and saying, hey, I admire your business, I know you're a mom, tell me what is going on and how you're doing this. Trust me, I've been there and I'm still there to a degree. But I first just want to say, if you're kind of sitting there thinking, this is hard, you're not doing it wrong. You're not necessarily doing it wrong, and it is hard. It is hard. So first I just want to say, like, what we're trying to do here is really, truly difficult, but it's 100% possible. And I want to give you some tools today, give you a little bit of insight into what I'm doing in my business to make room for both growth as a family, like literally pregnant with baby number 2 right now, and make room for growth as a company and as a business, and to chase all those dreams that I still have in my heart. And so if you're there with both the desire to be a present mother and an intentional business owner, and you want to do both of those things, I just want to buck all the stereotypes right now and tell you that you actually can do both. And I want to share with you a little bit of what has worked for me, and hopefully this will be helpful for you. Okay, so I'm filming this again because the first time I filmed this, I ran out of space on my memory card and I didn't realize it. So I said the entire video, here I am, a different day, a different outfit, and I'm coming back to give you the main points here. So just real life of what it is to be a content creator and working with video. It doesn't always work out for us. Okay, so in order to grow your business and grow your family, the first thing we need to do is determine your available hours. This was so crucial for me to sit down with a piece of paper, get my husband's schedule, get my daughter's nap schedule, write down all the commitments that I had already committed to, what my work hours were gonna look like, and where I was gonna find time to work was absolutely crucial. I had to sit down and do this because until you really get real on paper with where you're at on your schedule, you're almost guessing as to whether you have a lot of time, a little bit of time. And sometimes I think we say in our minds, I just don't have time to grow my business. I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. But when in reality, if you get out that piece of paper and you really look at where you might have margins of time and then add those up throughout a week to see, is this 15 hours at the end of the week? That can sometimes actually be encouraging, but also bring us down to reality as to what is practical for us to bring on our plate based on how much time and availability we have. Next, you're going to have to get help. And this is hard for me personally, so I'm kind of talking to myself here, but I bet that this is true of you as well. You are going to have to bring on help and get childcare in some way, shape, or form at a certain point in your business. Whether that is asking a family member or a friend for help, or just swapping childcare with another mom for free, it's going to give you dedicated work hours. And when you look at your schedule and you do step 1, you might realize you don't have sufficient time right now in your schedule to have the business that you actually want. And so when that happens, I urge you to look for opportunities to ask for help. So one common pushback I get here is that you either can't afford it or you don't have options for getting help. And what I really want to say is that when there is a will, there is a way. And sometimes we are of the mindset, we're saying, I can't, instead of looking and saying, okay, if I got help, what would that look like? If I had the money, where would I put it? And start thinking in possibilities instead of saying, I can't afford help, I can't ask another mom to swap childcare, I can't ask my mom or my sibling or my friend or my neighbor for help because, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, that kind of thing. So find a way, start opening yourself up to the possibility of asking for help, because it is absolutely crucial when it comes to juggling both family and business. And until I fully embraced this, until I said, you know, I'm gonna need help, and even if it's very part-time help, it's gonna make a big difference in my business, I was stunted in my growth. And so this was a huge thing for me. I had to just realize this is a cost of doing business, and that there are many creative ways to do this with other photographers in my area, other friends, or just paying somebody to come to my house while I'm there so that I can get some things done. And I know that my daughter is watched, and you know, in a couple months that my son will be watched as well, and that they're safe and they're happy and they're taken care of, so I can focus on just being creative and being productive in my business. So the third way that I'm building my business and my family, and that you can too, is by building a smart business. And what I mean by this is building a business where you're not in the weeds doing the same stuff over and over and over, when you maybe could make a template, or you could create some steps that are going to save you so much time. So this comes down to how I write emails. If I write an email more than once, that's going to become a template. If I realize that, you know, bringing images into my computer and editing them looks the same every time, that's going to become a template too. I have standard operating procedures in my business. I have workflows, and I have tools that support me, like HoneyBook and Notion and all kinds of planning softwares like Planoly. These are all things that I've talked about here on my channel. I'll link videos down below where I mention them more in depth, but you need things in your life and in your business that are going to support you to not have to be in the weeds and spending too much time in any one area. So one good thing to ask yourself is, you know, am I spending a lot of time on any one activity that I could maybe just get smarter about how I do it? Maybe this is editing and you need to outsource your editing. Maybe this is your emails or your back and forth with your client scheduling. All of that could be taken care of in a CRM like HoneyBook. And so this is important to set up, especially if you're not going to be working full time, which I know I'm personally not, and probably won't be for quite some time in my life and in the near future. But I want the output in my business to look full time. I want my income to look full time. I just don't have time to actually be full time. How many times can I say time, right? But this leads us to the next point. And that is that when you have a growing family and you're growing a business, you also need to run a smart home. And until I realized that my business life and my personal life are not two separate things that live in two separate silos, I was constantly trying to keep them separate. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't. When I'm at home, I can see my kitchen right behind the camera right now. I can see my laundry. If I lean over, I can see a pile of laundry. So until we fully embrace the idea of running a smart business and a smart home, it could be a little tricky to balance the two. And so for me, this looks like outsourcing things in my business as well as at home. I outsource my home cleaning. I'm going to put things on schedules, recurring subscriptions. Like if I have filters for my house and for my air system, I'm just gonna put that on a recurring order so that every 60 or 90 days, the new filter comes and I don't have to think about it. So anything that I can do to make my house run more smoothly with systems, just like I do with my business, I am going to fully embrace. And so I wanted to mention that because that's actually going to free up a lot of your mental capacity and your time as a busy parent, that you will later be able to commit a little more to your business because you're not thinking, oh, I have to go grocery shopping, or what am I going to make for dinner, or do I even have food right now in my fridge for lunch? That's just interruptions in your day that are not supporting your business. So keep in mind that running your business, in a smart way also applies to running your home. Last but not least, maybe even most importantly, you have to get into a growth mindset. So start imagining the person and the business that you want to become and build towards. And then start asking, what does that person do? When do they wake up in the morning? How do they spend their time? What are they eating? And what are their routines like? And just start stepping into that now. Because what I see is a lot of times business owners say, when I reach this goal, then I'll outsource. Or when I reach this kind of income, then I'll change some of these things and I'll be ready to invest more and, commit more and take risks and that kind of stuff. But really what it takes oftentimes is stepping into that mental role now and saying, this is the kind of person that I'm gonna be, and this is the kind of business I'm gonna build, and these are the things I have to do now in order to welcome that into my life. So for me personally, I started thinking, you know, does the most successful version of myself scroll Instagram for hours? And I was like, no, she doesn't. She has bigger stuff to do. She has content to create. She has people to inspire and work to produce and images to create, right? So I had to get myself in check in terms of how much time I was spending on social media. And so maybe you can do a little audit of your own life and say, you know, does this successful version of myself, the person who's making this dream income and is attracting these dream clients, when are they waking up at the time I'm waking up? Are they going to bed at the time I'm going to bed? Do they fuel their body in the way that I'm fueling my body? And then step into that role now. So when we take on that new identity, it's almost like the most successful version of ourselves. Then when we encounter obstacles, they just become things that we have to figure out instead of something that's going to completely derail us. We see it almost like a runner would see a hurdle, and the runner doesn't see a hurdle and say like, oh, I guess I'm done running for today. They see it, they calculate, and they jump over it. And so that's what we have to start thinking in terms of our business, and just expect that yes, challenges will arise, kids will get sick, life will happen, snow is falling outside my house right now and my whole schedule just changed, but it's just a small hurdle as a runner and something I just have to navigate. But I can only think of it in that way, in that realm of possibilities instead of negativities, if I'm getting into the proper mindset. And so that's why I wanted to mention that. I think that's so important for our success as business owners, especially if we want to thrive in both the home and in business. So these 4 things that I shared with you today are going to start taking you in the right direction. But if this is a conversation that you want to keep having and hearing about the balancing of both family and business life so that we can be the best parents and business owners that we want to be and aspire to be, please let me know. I would love to continue on and potentially make this a series and open up the conversation. So drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think, anything that's helped you balance both parenthood and business, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.